Hi, welcome to the director's cut of the hiking videos that I made this summer. I will be talking through some of the behind the scenes and other things that I didn't get to include in the video. Let's go. Okay, this is day 41 and it is my first day back to hiking alone after hiking with Slide for 2 weeks, and it is also the day that I met up with my friend Sheldon, who is local to this area, and he was the person that I had hoped to meet at the Monarch Pass area and stay with them for the night, but ended up not getting into town early enough to be able to do that.
It's day 41, hiking the Continental Divide Trail and Great Divide Trail combined.
They say that if you want to meet up with your friend So you can see actually these little tracks there. Those are Slide's snowshoe tracks. He was only a couple miles ahead of me, maybe 3 to 4 miles ahead of me at this point, and it was kind of fun to see his tracks and see over time like how the snow, like as the distance between this grew, the more that the snow melted his tracks out. Through hiking, you have to be flexible in location or timing or both, even more so if they're hiking in unpredictable snow. Luckily, my friend Sheldon, whom I met last year when he gave me a hitch on the Colorado Trail, was able to accommodate my hike. He coordinated with his friend Zach, who has a little cabin just off the trail. This is Sheldon, and he has a friend, Zach, who owns that little blue cabin just off of the CDT, and that's where I was trying to get to overnight on day 40, but I didn't make it because I had to hitch a ride down from Monarch Pass to the Butterfly House, which is a hostel down the road, to get my packages. But then getting a ride back up for some reason took so long that I ended up spending, I don't know, over an hour, I think, trying to get a ride back. And I didn't have enough time to make it like the remaining 3-4 miles to get to the cabin. So that was a bummer, but I did get to have breakfast in the morning with Sheldon at the cabin, which was super nice. And eventually he and his wife are trying to build a store that'll service CDT. So this cabin that Zach is building here he's planning on building it out to service CDT hikers eventually, and hilariously, it's actually where Slide slept on the night of day 40. So he made it out this far and camped inside of this unfinished structure. Hikers. I showed up at the cabin in the morning after failing to show twice before. Sheldon made eggs and I repaired things. This is me repairing all of the stuff that had ripped when I slid on day 37. Before continuing on. I followed Slide's tracks. At one point I lost them and decided to bushwhack a path up the valley. So if you can see here, this road is full, like it's a dirt road that you're walking on normally in this section, but it's completely covered in snow, and so it's actually quite steep. And I was following Slide's tracks through here, and then at some point I discovered that he was no longer hiking on the slanted road, which makes sense. Like it was really challenging to be like so sloped all the time. Traversing on snowshoes is just not fun. And so he actually slid down and then went into the valley. And I think what he did was he climbed up to the ridge line on the other side and then did the ridge all the way up and reconnected with the CDT. But what I did was I slid down and then I went through the valley floor and bushwhacked through like all the willow and all the trees in the valley instead of going up to the ridgeline, and then I climbed slowly up the valley. It looks like a U-shaped valley, and he would have gone like this to the other ridge and then walked over here, and I went down and then up at the very end. So I remember like having a small amount of panic that I wasn't seeing Slide's tracks in the valley and thinking like, is he okay? Did he actually accidentally slide? Is he okay? Then because I when I got back to the CDT, I reconnected with the CDT earlier than he did, and I didn't see his tracks, so I was like, oh my god, maybe he didn't make it. And then I kept going, and then I saw his tracks again later on. He had reconnected at a later point, but it just goes to show, like, when you're the only two people out there, I really was, like, essentially checking on him, making sure that I could see that he had made it through a section already as I was going through, instead of setting track on a slushy, steep climb. I kept repeating to myself, I'm not lost, I'm finding my way. Slide set a great track down a very steep descent, but even still... So what I'm trying to show here is like, man, like it's so steep, and then sometimes you just like post hole through, and then you just get, I think I got stuck here. My snowshoe got stuck underneath this tree branch that was covered by the snow, and then I had to like stop, take off the snowshoe, dig myself out. Yeah, there was a lot of that in this section. I caught my snowshoe in a tree under the snow once and fell on my face once.
I took the lower elevation Mirror Lake Roadwalk alternate to try to minimize the snow and to continue following slides tracks, but up.
So the thing that I was just showing earlier was my kick step. So I had kicked all of these steps into the snow. So I started from here and then I came up slowly like this. Each of those steps I punched in myself. Slide had gone a different way around, so
Try to minimize the snow and to continue following slides tracks, but up high it's all snow and down low it's all water.
yeah, this was I was trying to avoid snow by descending down, but then I realized that it was so warm and the snow was all melting, so everything that I walked on was just water. Like, just I couldn't avoid the water. It was water on the road. It was water in the bushes. I was trying to step on the bushes to kind of stay out of the water, but everywhere I went, it was all melting.
That's how melting works. With all the elevation changes, I got a big nosebleed, which I tried to collect with snow before using my emergency toilet paper.
Here, what I'm doing is I'm actually walking on the road, I think, but it's all just, I'm not even walking across a river. It's just the road that is covered in water.
My right ankle is now unhappy from carrying the weight of the snowshoe and all the snow heaped on it and stuck to it, so I've taped my ankle. Camp is.
I remember making a joke to Slide that on day 24, I think, my ankle started to hurt a little bit, and then by day 25, when we started hiking together, my ankle stopped hurting, and then my ankle started hurting again as soon as we stopped hiking together on day 41, literally the day after we parted ways. And so I was like, oh my gosh, Slide is my ankle good luck charm.
It's a bit sloped, but I put things under my sleeping pad to level it out, and now I'm comfortable. See you tomorrow.
That was not a comfortable campsite for sure. Okay. I think the reason that I camped there was because further up it was all snow, and so I was trying to camp not directly on the ridge where it was snowy, but I also was on a slope, so I couldn't really find a good place to camp, and that was the most flat part that I could find where I could maybe sleep there without rolling down the mountain. That is day 41.